Grover Cleveland. Some of you get, I don't know if you're that old, but George Washington, etc. The machine has already programmed in it patterns for arthritis, cancer, rheumatism, microwaves, every stinking thing that you're going to get hit with. It can cross-catalog them and find it. So that if it takes a picture of your face and it says, this isn't Fred, this is an apple, then what's happening is that machine is seeing the silhouette of the energy in your system. What it means is that the apple is warring with your system and it's winning. Once it detects the pattern, compares your energy balance pattern or burn pattern with 250,000 others in its memory banks. It gives you a comparison. It compares your energy balance pattern with the normal pattern of the human body. You can tell whether you are burning evenly or unevenly. Now, the way we can pick up, we know you've got something cooking. I can make it fun. But is by the style of when the picture is formed. You'll see on this picture it's absolutely uniform, and on this one you'll see a lot of different variations. The reds are very, very hot, and then you've got pinkish areas, blue areas, etc. It's not blue on the screen, but this is like a suppressed area. This is an area where an allergy has taken over a function. This guy may have had a sinus headache from this. And it's really a substance in there, trying to take over the space of the human being. Now, and you're probably wondering, saying, trying to take over space. Well, nothing's really trying to take over my space, really. Well, think about eating for a minute. If you eat a chicken, and that chicken goes into your system, in the chicken's genes, there's a directive to say, you will be a chicken try as hard as you can to be a chicken forever. And your body's saying, no, wait a second now. We don't want you to be a chicken, we want you to be me. Now some people lose this fight. And the chicken wins. You know, a lot of people don't realize, the funny thing is they eat a lot of sugar, and sugar wins a lot of time, and they develop funguses. And if they could take the fungus and put it under a microscope, it would look exactly like sugar cane, only in miniature form. The sugar is procreating its program to be sugar forever. And if it's got to do it in your body, tough. Now you've got a big liability here. If you let something in your body that wants to take over your body, no matter what it is, animal, vegetable, or mineral, you're in for some big trouble. And that's why it says, how can a person tell if his EVP is even or uneven? Human machine is complex, is made of spirit, mind, and body, which all must be working together in harmony. Now down here is a very important point. Setbacks, financial hardships, mental disorders, worries, troubles, separations, and losses. So many events which are not physical traumas will also affect the energy burn pattern. So what I'm saying is, just as well as you cannot digest a chicken, you would have the same problem digesting mental and attitudinal things. If that's you, then you know that somebody's in there with you, okay? And this is very true. And the way you can practice this, and we do this with the camera very often, is take a picture of a person's face before and after saying something which embarrasses them. When you embarrass them, basically what you're doing is you're actually putting a thought in them which they can't digest. And it goes in there and it changes their physical features and their energy burn patterns very dramatically. So much so that the machine can pick it up. It's very subtle. Now, just to give you a little bit more, this is the orthodox view of using infrared for people who are injured and sick and have uneven burn patterns. Traumas linger for months, sometimes even years. When a person thinks he has recovered, and this is what happens with the machine many, many times, the person thinks they're all over a trauma, and the machine says it's still there. I've had so many people that are loaded with symptoms And what's happened to them is they thought they got over that divorce or that separation or that trauma 30 years ago. These wily, we call them dragons, these traumas, have the same abilities and capabilities as Dracula. They can change form at will. So what starts out being an ache in the heart can easily become arthritis or turn into a tumor or something like that. And it fools you because you think you're done with it, and this thing has changed form. And one of the things that allows these dragons and traumas to change forms is drugs. I'll tell you right now, drugs of all types, whether they're recreational or they're prescription, allow these dragons to change their form at will and just prey on you like crazy. Okay, so it says it's essential that the EVP of a human being be even in the same way that the EVP, the energy burn pattern of an automobile, must be even for a smooth ride. Your body must be fine-tuned for it to run at its peak, which means that what you've got to do is create a system of methodically developing immunities to all these things. And then you know sometimes you've seen people split up and one of them is happy and they're starting a whole new life and the other one hangs himself. Well, obviously you have seen the difference between allergy and immunity. You're all laughing because you all know what's happening to you. You've been on both ends of it. You walk away from some, the other ones, you get the shotgun out. Like, that's it, I knew it. Okay, now, we do several different kinds of scans. Now, we don't just take one picture, we take a lot of pictures so we can track the dragons and, exactly where they are. The infrared phase scan measures your composite energy burn pattern from head to toe. It's for general stress and related problems. It's an internal workup to see if the person's warring with themselves, their organs. Some organs sometimes fight with the other organs. The liver will fight with the spleen, or the heart will fight with the colon. Hand scan is the next one. This one reads your energy relationship to other people, interpersonal problems, business dealings, communication aptitudes. Absolutely essential for this side. If you want to go over to the chemical side of the alchemy, do it. But believe me, 90% of what's bugging people is business problems, communication, aptitudes, getting along in life with people. It hurts them. And that kind of energy can turn sour on somebody and make them sick very easily. Now here's another one that we do. We do the foot scan, which is very important, and it's analyze your connection to the environment. The effects of toxins, pollutions from the air and water, helps you adjust your energy burn pattern to cleanse and purify your system so you feel more grounded. Your feet are your grounding mechanism for dumping toxins and poisons in the body. If you're overweight or you're not in the right kind of shape, it's because you're not discharging these minerals and the materials that are coming into your body via the lungs, via your food supply and your air supply and your water supply are getting trapped in the body. They're stopping along the way to war with you. You're not immune to them, so they get caught in a battle, like a skirmish going on. All right, next thing we do is an infrared patch. Now, one of the things that we do, you'll see these GR3 and GR4 are very, very important because most people don't realize it, but they have been cursed with a genetic hand-me-down, we call it. And they don't realize it, that I just scanned a lady, and I'm not going to say who it was, but she had some skin trouble, and we found out, the computer found out that she had genetic syphilis from years ago, from like 400 years ago. It wasn't her fault, but it just turned on. If your ancestors get something, it's in your memory banks. You're stuck with it. Even the Orthodox people realize that cancer is a genetic chromosomal problem, and that it's a trigger mechanism, that if you get the right combination of chromosomes in order, you got it. There's nothing you can do about it. And I don't care how many wheat sprouts you eat, how much carrot juice you drink, and how good you are, you still got it and you go. And that's not fair. That's not fair. I don't like that. I'm mad about that. Prometheus is mad about that. Because all you got to do is go in and change that program and shut it down, and it stops. But how many people know about that? Very few. It's sickening to watch people suffer day in and day out when they can just change the program. Okay, now, the program that we're working, it says EVPs are reflected through the body because of the interconnections of the nervous system. And we have an acupuncture chart here, which is one of the proofs that, and people that are into reflexology know and realize that there's certain areas of the body that reflect to the organ systems. And we've picked up on that, and we're able to track that with the equipment. So we can track different areas of the body and match those areas of the body. Our system is numbered. The gallbladder is 6, the stomach 4, the bladder, the kidneys and the bladder are 16, etc. There's a special number system. I wrote a book. I had to write a book. 15 years it's taken to put this together. It's now in 12 volumes, 15,000 pages of information in this book. Okay? It's called The Secret of SAF. It has the exact codes in it. So if we do a workup on you, you can look up the codes and effectively, again, we're giving you the information. I tried it with the doctors. It's dead. I'm out. That's the end. I tried it for years with the doctors. They won't go. They're too hardline trained on they went with the alchemy of the physical nature. And we can't stop that. And I love them all, believe me. I wish everybody would have their own personal doctor. In a can, over the mantelpiece. But no. I'm kidding, of course. Here comes the truck. Where's the truck now? All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go. All right. Modern science knows this truth. If a certain body area is damaged or in trouble, the reflexive area of the face, hands, and feet will show the energy imbalance as well. So many of you will take a picture of you and you'll say something about your liver, and you'll say, how could you know about a liver from your face? Because of the reflex areas of the nervous system. The brain has to communicate with the liver. We tap the phone lines from the brain to the liver. There's a nervous system line that has to use. So we get in there with the gun, and we see if the line's busy or it's engaged. If it's very hot, then we know that they're talking. Each body area which is in balance is represented by a number, as I said. Life force has a unique system which uses these numbers to create chains. Believe it or not, you're not going to believe me when I tell you this. I know you're not, because you're going to think that we're fringy. But believe me, in 1986, the October issue of Discover magazine, physicists all over the world rejoiced on the theory of what they finally discovered the theory of strings, which I published 15 years ago, and nobody believed. Have you heard of it? They call it superstrings. I published that theory 15 years ago. I was laughed all the way up to, finally, now it's okay, I'm 50 years ahead of them. They published a theory and said, we don't know what to do with it yet, maybe by the turn of the century. We're doing something with it. It's a fantastic theory of how everything is interconnected. And I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't the movie, the Star Wars, that inspired it, the Force, that they finally decide, I think everything is interconnected. And they overthrew Einstein's theory, the greatest brain on the planet, in favor of the super. They call theirs strings, we call ours chains. Chains tell us what organs and glands are pulling others out of balance in a sequence or order which this misalignment occurs. Example of a chain. Sometimes you'll get a 2147. That means that you have tremendous amount of heat on the heart, that your heart's overheating. Your thymus is the next hottest. Your stomach is the next hottest after that, and the lungs is the coolest in the line. The lungs is the culprit, though. In the book, The Secret of SAF explains all these numbers and how they interconnect so that you can use it for yourself. For this reason, chains help you find the causes of your problems by noting which numbers have priority. So this chain, this super string, this super chain is the ticket to immunity. This is the ticket. You come in, you say, I've got bronchitis, asthma, I've got this problem and that problem, whatever the heck it is. This 2147 is the ticket out. It's the code. It's generated by the computer. Okay, well, we have a little thing here where I don't want to do the, I just put it up there. Here, I'll do this. Whoops. Okay, maybe a little too crazy. That's a rabbit, guys, okay, in case you didn't get it. Now, a lot of different things can happen to you. How much time I got left? Am I done? Am I finished? Oh, it's over already? No, that was cool. Somebody just said, I have 10 minutes to tell you. Okay. Let me get untrapped. Okay. Now, pardon? Questions. Right, that's right. Go ahead.
Okay, how do you use these numbers now for people to heal themselves?
Okay, now, the numbers are very, very specific, and I wish I had more time because I explained to you where they come from. Okay, they come from my studies in radiation. I wish I could talk about more. Got 10 minutes left. Radiation studies that we did developed the exact pattern of breakdown that occurs over time, in other words, the aging process. I did a lot of studies with the films and tapes and books on Nagasaki, Hiroshima, X-ray technicians, different people who are exposed to radiation. What we found out, and this is the breakthrough, is that these numbers representing the organs break down in a certain order, a secret order, okay? And we don't know that. None of us knew it. We didn't know what the order was. It starts off the thymus and goes to the heart and the colon and the stomach and anterior pituitary. It's a code, okay? What the code was is the code of the sun. When you're exposed to sunlight, your organs break down. It's a trap. If your organs are allowed to break down in that specific order over and over again, you get old. It's that simple. It's the same trap as like when, for instance, you take a little corn kernel and put it in the ground. As it's exposed to sunlight and water, etc., it grows up, becomes mature. The same sunlight, the same exact sunlight. The sun doesn't change, doesn't turn purple or blue. It's the same stinking thing. It starts to wilt and rot and die. Why is that? There's a code from the energies coming from the sun that triggers that reaction. You have the same code. You can't escape it. And that's what's programmed into that computer. Now, our program, what we're trying to do here, is to escape this whole thing. Because what you don't understand is that everything on this planet, you and everything you see is congealed sunlight. And your overexposure to sunlight causes you to age faster than other people. If I gave you some strontium-90 and some americium or something, a radioactive isotope, and had you sit them in your pockets for a while, in a week you'd be dead. Why? Because it's congealed, it's compressed sunlight. Uranium-238 is the highest natural source of condensed sunlight on the planet. All it is a lot of sun got jammed in one place. You understand what I mean? No? Okay. Read the book. The book's it just explains that in detail. And that book is, this is the most powerful piece of literature written. I'm not saying it because I wrote this. I didn't really, I had help putting this together, a lot of help. But let me tell you something. This is a ticket out. If you don't get some kind of a mechanism to start immunizing yourself to radiation, to just the sun itself. Pardon?
PABA works.
Yeah, PABA works as a screen, though.
No, you can take it in.
I know, you take it in turn, but it's a screen. That's what they say. It's called a sun screen, okay? It's almost like, yeah. It's a chemical, okay? And what we're talking about is adjusting your genes to accept more light. Almost like changing the aperture in your body. Rather than, yeah, let's put another shade in there. Oh, where's my PABA? One of these days you're going to run out of PABA or something, or you're going to get some stuff that's not that good, and it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying, most of you, I'm not knocking, don't get the wrong idea. I'm just trying to give you a different viewpoint. The chemistry's fine, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, but we want to get in. I want to get in and change the program. This way you can eat glass, okay? If you wanted to. I had a lady that just had an absolute horrible time, like at work, where she was getting polluted by plastic fumes. Now, I mean, if she didn't want to quit because she needed the money, what are you going to do? But she's dying. You see, you're all in that trap, You don't understand. When you start thinking about it, you realize it. I can't because I need the money, I need to work, I need to survive. I can't move out of this situation. So what do? You either run, you either got to leave, or you got to fix it. Or you got to, drop like screens, that's okay. But how long can you wear the armor? Yeah.
Two questions. I'd like to know the price of both of your books. And also, I would like to know if you are familiar with and have studied or know anything about, which I assume you do because it's the subject matter, human spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, that's a big, I studied that intensely.
Repeat the question.
He wants to know about how much the books cost, number one, which I'll gladly tell you. And also, you want to know if I had done any studies on human spontaneous combustion. I have. I've done probably more study than anybody on it because human spontaneous combustion is a process by which... Oh, I see. I thought you were trying to hail a cab or something. The human spontaneous combustion is a very, very serious part of the super diseases, I call them, that are on the horizon. You think AIDS is bad. Where do you see the epidemic of spontaneous combustion?
Well, it seems as though we already have one
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
we do.
It's
We
just
do.
beginning, but what is it?
Here's right, very simply, when there's a law in the environment that says that objects will only be so close where they'll combust, that occurs in chemistry. In other words, if you take this chemical and this chemical, they're okay until they're moved to this part and they blow up. And all of it does that. That's how your car battery works. All you do is just expose one chemical to the other and it blows up. What happens in a human body is when the genes no longer can cope with the process of trying to catalog all these allergens and allergies and anti-immune situations in the body, it combusts. It just goes back. What's happening is it's returning to the sun. And most of in fact, the computer, since it's rigged to sunlight, will predict that. Unless something's done, something drastic is done. Now, I don't know how many of you will move on it, but like I said, you start thinking about it, and maybe you want to go home and make a list of the stuff that's bothering you. You're going to find a mighty list. I've had people do that, find 500, 600 things that are going wrong. And that's coming from something in the environment, something triggering a gene or a process. You have in your chromosomes a time clock, and it predicts exactly when you're going to go. Right down to the day. And there's no reason why you can't go in there and put a couple of zeros on the end. If you want to. That's your prerogative. But can you reach it? Can you find it? If you keep thinking chemical, you're not going to get it. I hate to say it. You're not going to find it. Because those genes are sonic and very spiritual things that connect the mental and the spiritual world with the physical world. And until scientists recognize those two halves, you're not going to find it. And they're going to go nuts trying to get control of it. Okay? But you don't have that liability, and you don't have that restriction. Not unless you subscribe to some society or something like that. If you belong to the AMA, it's not fair for you to do that because you're saying, hey, I'm on the left side. I'm a left side guy. I want to swing with the chemical people. It's not fair for you to jump over the other side. And they rightfully get mad. They say, look, we spent 400 years making this cute table and everything fit just the way it's supposed to fit, and now you want to jump over that side. You shouldn't do that.
No.
The books. Oh, yeah. This is $200. Special today for the global people, for global types, $100. There's 12 volumes in this set. They're $10,000. I give an advance payment discount of $5,000 and you want all of them. Within the volumes are all the techniques for scanning, how to trap down what we call dragons, which are the trauma producing. A dragon is an entity that changes your program against your will. It's called an SPI, Significant Programming Input, and teaches you basically how to edit. Oh my God!
Are you telling me that this has 12 volumes this size?
Yeah.
And that the whole set is,
There's close to 20,000 pages of data.
well, I mean the price.
The whole price is $10,000, but you can get it for $5 if you pay in advance. This one book is $200 by itself, and you can get it for half price for the conference only. If you want to order it outside the conference, then it's extra. Now,
Now, the other book.
this book is $100. This is the book on the light side periodic table. In other words, the spiritual periodic table was developed for the banner for the other guys who just never had anything. No more questions. That's it. I'm done.
Now you know Joe Scogna.